I get in the trades though. I'm looking for the market to do the same thing 3 to 5 days. Within those 3 to 5 days, it usually either reverses completely or it reverses for a little bit and corrects itself and continues the trend it was going on the first few days. Um, I'm looking for the high and the low of the day because usually what happens is it respects the high and the low. Like we're gonna look at Monday here. This was the high of the day. So this line marks yesterday's high. When Tuesday came in, it respected the high of the day. It didn't want to break the high of the day. That's what I mean by the high or the low of the day.
Mhm.
This doesn't look like maybe an M to anybody, but that's pretty much one right here. And then it just came and retested and it dropped until it went to the low of the day. So it pretty much stayed in between the high and the low of the day until here when it broke out and made a new high. So that's what I mean by I'm looking for the high and the low of the day. I'm looking for it to touch those same areas twice and hold those areas by either recognizing candle patterns, wicks. If it breaks it, it didn't close. There's no candles down here. It just wicked. That means it reversed. It wanted to reverse. So I look for things like that, or I'm just looking for the formation. Candle patterns. Did it break the high and the low? Did it hold the high and the low? Um, I honestly want to ask if you understand what I mean by breaking the high or holding the lower, things like that. Before I keep.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, cool. So that's what I'm looking for in a situation like this. When that was yesterday's high, it didn't break it, so it sold. Now, what I do need to explain to you is the 6 steps. Yeah, this might buy right here. Let me see. I do got another thing I like to do. I like to find us a trade first before I start going all off into the charts. Okay, I'm going to enter this trade. Um, it's not a complete W. What I see so far is a morning star. There's a red one right here, red candle down here, a doji right here, and this candle could continue to shoot up. On the 5 minute chart, the green crossed the red for a buy, so it would be early. It hasn't crossed on the 15, but I look for it to happen back to back. So I am gonna get in this, and I'm just gonna put my stop below the low at 18. I'm honestly gonna go to 1832. That might be, I want to say 33.
Mhm.
It would have to make a new low for me to get out this trade. I'm gonna stick with 32. I'm honestly do 32.5. There we go. I can see this coming up to like 38, 39. When I which would be about 40 pips. I can see it come back up to the blueberry. And from there, I'm gonna take profit. You might want to hold that and it could bounce off of that and go back down. Because Jay, if I could show you the TDI, I think you'll have something to go off of. And you can look at everything based off the TDI
Okay.
uh, starting off. So the 6 steps is the daily structure. It's on the 15-minute chart. And if you could understand the 6 steps, you could know what to look for, what time to look for the daily structure. So the way that works, every day begins and ends in consolidation. Um, when the market first opens up, that's considered the Asian session. I usually that is the I don't want to say the slowest. Okay, yeah, it kind of is. It's the it's the session where mainly the false moves for the day are put out. There's moves within every session. There's you can catch pips in every session. But if you know what each session does, you know what you're looking for. So usually in the Asian session is the false move for the bigger move. The bigger move always happens in London and New York session. In some cases is rare. Whatever it does in the Asian session, it can do for the rest of the day or most of the day. Sometimes it's not a false move. If we in that trade, y'all up, I'm up like 20 pips. I just kept shooting. So in the 15 minute, the green just crossed the red on the 15. So that's a good sign. When that happens, I'll be looking for it to cross on the 30. That's my next. That's what I watch for. Because it crossed on the 5, I entered. It just crossed on the 15. And so then I'll be looking for it to cross on the 30. And I'll look to see if it's going to cross on the hour. That's what I look for. The more it crosses back to back like that, the stronger the move. So it may or may not cross on the hour. I stick to my pips. As long as you stick to your pip goal, none of that stuff matters. I don't worry about what the market did all day when I got my goal. That's how you keep from being greedy. That's how you keep from being on these charts all day and get on about your life. I don't think it's gonna happen on the 4-hour chart. You never know, it could, but it takes longer to play out because of higher time. So it was the low of the day. And also on my phone, it was close to the blue bear on the 15-minute chart and the May on the hour chart. But the 6 steps even played out good today. It's not done yet, but so far it's done a consolidation. Even though this drop, the Asian session itself can be considered a stop hunt. So basically what it did for the Asian session was rise. And that was the false move. When 2 o'clock came, that was the peak. So there's a consolidation, there's a stop hunt to the high. Whatever the stop hunt usually is, the market's gonna move the opposite way for the rest of the day. So since it rose through Asian session, it dropped for London session. And now we're in New York session. So it's a consolidation, it's a stop hunt to the high. You have a sniper entry. Off the mustard is a continuation move of the trend. And once it makes its peak low or high, in this case a low, because it was at the peak high, it dropped all day. Some point of the day, there has to be a low of the day. And it's gonna reverse and go back into consolidation before the market moves. So the way this looked yesterday was consolidation. The stop hunt was to the high, drop, continuation off the mustard. And once it made its low for the day and was done, it consolidated. It reversed it back in the consolidation. This looks, okay, cool. Because one thing about this, what I want you to do, look at the example in the chat and pick a day. It could be yesterday, like I just explained, and just mark it, label it for yourself. One thing about it though, it can look crazy. It's not always going to be that clean.
Like, I was trying to figure out how to get all this stuff off of it because it was like a lot of jungle, but I'll figure it out by the end of the day, I guess.
Oh, what you talking about?
I don't know if you remember, I got those boxes and stuff. It just looked like a lot of stuff like smashed up together. It's not really easy to see it.
Can you make the chart bigger? That's a little easier if you made it bigger.
I'll figure out how to play with it. It's bigger, but still those boxes behind the wicks. It's making it hard for me to see.
I'm gonna have to go I don't think I wanna see if you can find one that doesn't have the boxes on it. We'll have to probably go over that again. You'll need at least the moving averages up here with your water. All of them have that, I believe. The water, Mayo and Blueberry, with the TDI needs to look like this. As long as it has your TDI on it. And if it was just that and the moving averages, that's all you really need. if you can upload them templates, which one? I think you're using the one called Game.
Mm,
You could probably use the very first one. I remember the very first one being a good one.
yeah, that's what I'm using.
Or the very first one. Okay. And it still has the boxes on.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about them boxes, when I'm explaining this 6 steps, the stop hunt is going to be inside of those boxes. And basically, you're looking to trade once it gets outside of that first box. Like, let me see.
Once it gets outside of the boxes. Okay.
Yeah, see these boxes?
Hold on. Let me go back. Yes.
This is the Asian session. This is where your stop hunt is taking place inside of these boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not looking for a trade until it breaks out of the first box.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of these boxes don't matter. This is, let me see, how's that? Yeah, it didn't even showing it for this yet. This is the London session. It's okay to trade in the rest of the boxes. It's really just the first one, and I want to say the last one. But it's okay to trade this too. It's really just the first one. I wouldn't want you to trade into until you start to recognize this. Honestly, I don't really like to trade when it's inside of this box anyway. This is basically the beginning of the day. That's the Asian session, and that's when the stop hunt is being made. So that's why those boxes are there. So if you can just remember that, don't trade inside the first one. The rest of them are okay. But,
okay.
We can try to figure that later. I don't know if you can find one that doesn't have the boxes. We can look at that later if we need to.
Josiah, stop it. Put it out, okay?
Check something. Not use these boxes. See, this is a bad one. It could play out anyway. I just want to keep going over the 6 steps a little bit. I know you said you got it, so that was cool. It doesn't always look clear. If it don't look clear, don't trade. Only trade what looks clear to you. But what it's the same thing every day. Consolidation. This was a stop hunt to the low. It held that low. Every time it came down, it pushed back up. Every time it came down, it pushed up. So ultimately, these are W's. That's a W there. They're all connected, but it just kept making W's. So it was consolidation, stop hunt to the low, and then it was a rise. It kept bouncing up, but when it finally went up, it wasn't a big move. So this is a perfect day where basically it held the high of the day and the low of the day and just bounced inside the whole day. On a daily chart, this was just a candle, a doji. It began here and it ended here. It pretty much began the day and ended the day in the same spot. So this would be your consolidation, stop hunt to the low, rise, and when it made this peak, it reversed back into consolidation.
Okay, I see that.
That's like, it happens every day, but you have to be able to recognize it. This here was the easy one. Consolidation, there was a stop up to the low. It held the water and the green crossed the red right here for the buy. Green going up. I remember this. We did not catch this. Then nobody. I didn't even pay the market no attention. Sometimes it'll happen like that, where it does the trend like that for the rest of the day. So it was consolidation, stop onto the low, rise, continuation. It usually bounces off the mustard. That's your continuation. It made a peak high here. That was your reversal. back into consolidation when it ended the day. And that happens pretty much all the time. It looks different. Consolidation, this will be your stop hunt to the low. That was your rise. Continuation off of here. Reversal back into consolidation. Now I'm gonna give out this one tip. Um, if the market isn't a buy-in market, like the overall trend is up, your stop hunt is gonna be down because they're coming for buys. Like this was a buy. So the stop hunt was to come back down to those buys. They're coming for entries and stop losses and stuff. So when you know it's an overall uptrend, you usually don't know until like the second day. It's like, okay, went up that day. I'm looking forward to go up the next day. You look for your stop hunt to be low, and then keep rising. Because the stop hunt is the false move. So if it wants to keep going up, it has to go down first. So that's why in these it went down first and then went up. Even in these, it it went up here and then it went down again and then it went up. It came back here to come for the interest. If anybody got in these buys, they come to knock them out the trade. Came down. The thing about wicks is they're candles first. They're big red or green candles. This was a big red candle at first. And then it wicked right back up and continued its way up. Wanted to rise again, stop hunt was low. And then went up. But this is a reversal. Monday was a reversal. So then it dropped. So that's why looking for sales, it's going to stop hunt up first. Since that was a sale Monday, it was going to sell today. So it did the stop hunt up and then drop.
I understand.
It's really that, it really is that simple. Once you recognize your candle patterns, the candle Bible is probably one of the, you have to get that. You have to recognize basically the wicks or reversal patterns. Let me see. Just wicks are signs of reversal. Even here, it's just wicks up here. Every time it came up, it's just nothing but wicks. Your water's a trend line. When it got to the trend line, it just shot down. This was a consolidation, stop hunt to the high, drop. Continuation, reversal at the end of the day, back in the consolidation. It really do be that simple. It was a consolidation, stop up to the high, drop, continuation. When it made its low, it reversed back into consolidation. It's the same thing every time. You just have to recognize it. Be patient and wait for it. And stick with that in your TDI. The green crossing the red, like this consolidation. This look weird, but this was nothing but drop. The week before last, it was nothing but drop. So most of your stop hunts are high. The false moves was the rise. Consolidation made us move up. That was the peak high. All it did was come to yesterday's high. That's what this line is. So all it did was hold yesterday's high. High of the day, low of the day. Looking for the high of the day. This was the high of the day. It came up the previous day's high of the day. It was a big red candle. All it did was reverse, green crossed the red going down, and it dropped, continuation, made its low of the day, reverse back into consolidation. It does the same thing every single time.
So I'll study that.
I don't know who are able to even pay attention. Everybody quiet, so I don't want to start running my mouth if nobody listens.
So I see it went lower than yesterday's low, right?
Yeah, we went lower than it. I was looking at Friday, and it came here and hit that blueberry and went for Friday's low. That's what made me get in that first buy. and then the TDI was down here. It crossed, and then it. One thing about getting in and out of trades is paying attention to the TDI
Yes.
because it crosses back and forth. So basically, like, let's see an example. Something like this, where it crossed up for your buy. When you notice it cross back down, you can get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I want people to pay attention to more than anything is to pay attention to that. Even when I say get in trades, you either can take some of your money when it crosses back the opposite way, or just get out completely.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't even have to risk that many pips every single time, just basing it off of that. That's what will make people take less losses and also know when to get in and out of trade.
Okay. And basically, that's what I was trying to understand coming into this call this morning, and now I understand it. So, thank you.
That's only some of it.
I understand that part. Like whatever, like the W's and M's, I was just like, what is he talking about? So I understand that, and I'm going to, like, I've been looking up how to fix like my charts and stuff. So the
Out of what?
view, how to fix the view on it. I just been looking up that.
Oh,
So I'm gonna play with some stuff and see, because I still have the template. No matter what, I can go back to it.
yeah. Um, yeah, we can. I can show you that later if I need to.
Okay. Let me see first, and then if I have any questions.
We do got a new 4 hour candle coming, so I'm looking for the end of this 4 hour candle to wick back up. Just make some kind of wick. That's another thing that I do. Every candle usually has a wick on the top and the bottom, not every time, but that's something you can look for. Since this 4 hour candle's about to end, a new 4 hour candle starts at 10 o'clock. So before the new one comes in, it can wick up, and then it can continue to drop back down after that. But towards the end of a candle, it usually makes a wick. So far, this just got one little wick at the top, and it's flat on the bottom so far. And there'll be a new 4 hour candle in like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Yeah, 11 minutes. So that's something else I look for. Also, when a new 4 hour candle starts, it's best to let like maybe the first 15 minutes or something of it play out, because it's usually making a wick. So if it rises in these first 15 minutes or whatever the case is, it could be 30 minutes. Sometimes it could just be 7 minutes, something like that. But if it rises in the first part of the 4 hour candle, it could drop the rest of the 4 hour candle.
Mm.
But in this situation, that's what I'm looking for. Looking for it to wick up, and then a new one starts. And if it wants to wick up and then drop again, we're just basically going to catch that pullback from it doing that. And you could do that on every candle, every time frame, or at least 15 minutes on up. Is something worth looking into. It's too small to do on a minute and a 5 minute. But the same thing happens where every candle has a wick, and they
Mm-hmm.
open and close at certain times. That's what this is for. Candle time lets you know when the candle's about to close.
Oh, okay.
5 minute candle just started.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, 9 minutes left on the 15 minute candle. That's why I'm looking for that on the 4 hour.